The as I said to you guys, and you heard me say it, what is in-depth data? It is a simple tool to help you do good business by making financial management more simple. I'm not here to replace an accountant. I'm not here to replace your financial advisor. What I'm actually doing is I want to make sure that when you go to that financial advisor, you're prepared to have a conversation and you're in charge of that information. We can move to the next do that. And in order to understand that, the first thing we have to understand is why do small businesses fail? Um, the, the, the opportunity that I want everyone to understand here is cash flow is king. And and I would say to you, as you look at these topics and percentages, 82% of business fail because they don't understand cash flow. 77% of them don't know properly how to price all necessary items in their business. And 70% of them don't seek help. As I'm going to ask this question of people, the first thing I can say to you is I can identify with every single one of these percentages. I mean, not percentage, every one of these statements in my business. And here's why I can identify. I can honestly tell you up to probably 2 years ago, I didn't really understand what cash flow was. I did not, I could tell you what I thought it was, but never knew how to apply it to my business. And if you don't have a full understanding of cash flow, you're probably behind the 8 ball as I was at one time. But cash flow is what can you do to run your business? Is it profitable? Should you be continuing that line of business? Should you invest and keep investing in that? At the end of the day, can I pay all my bills? And then at the end of that, because that's gross of margins, then we talk about net. Can I pay my house bills after that? And then do I have anything to reinvest back into the business? As you guys are hearing this, does any of that resonate with any of you as far as your knowledge? And I would love to hear, you know, some testimonials or some struggles that you may be having. Because you just heard an accountant just say, "Hey, Robbie just said this." People come to me and I'm struggling to help them out. So have you guys had a situation where that you didn't understand something, but you didn't know where to begin, and how did that impact your business? Okay, we'll move on from here. Again, as we move to the next slide here.
Hold on, James. We do have some raised hands.
Okay.
James Barnes.
Go ahead, James.
So I think what you touched on is, excuse me, it's extremely important because I say this all the time. You know, we are too often very passionate about, you know, the product or the service that we offer to the public, but you know, we don't take the time to make sure that the numbers make sense. And I think that EnDepth, you know, has definitely created a software and a tool for us to make sure that at the end of the day, you know, we're making money in our business. Businesses are remaining profitable. And I think that's the most important piece of it, is the educational portion of the software.
Excellent. Thanks, James.
Robbie?
The only thing I want to add to your question, I think, and hopefully I'm speaking for most of the small businesses, Carl Singleton there with his premium vehicle service, Foundation Transportation, many times he'll reach out to me and say, Robbie, I need these analytics. And unfortunately, the software that we use may be limiting. And so there's manual intervention. And I think that your solution may be a good alternative to those types of requests, those types of ad hoc requests, whether it's for, you know, going for a contract, or you're refinancing, or going for loans. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this is what your software does. It gives those analytics that your basic financial system software like QuickBooks doesn't automatically do. And I think for more of your sophisticated small businesses that are looking at their KPIs, their key performance indices, I think your software will do a lot in terms of handling those types of items.
Well, Robbie, this makes this conversation a little bit easier because you're actually reading, you're getting ahead of my slides, but you are absolutely correct. Some of the challenges that I'm hoping to solve for you is there is no tool on the market that allows you to analyze your market at a simplistic level. And why is that important? Because hey, QuickBooks is great. It is a great software, but it is an accounting software. And if you didn't know any better, you had to have an accounting degree or a doctorate's degree to really extract the information that you need out of that. So excellent feedback there. Thanks, James and Robbie.
Hey, Charles, it's Danielle.
Yeah.
I just wanted to comment also as being someone who's on a financial perspective and understanding how revenue impacts, I think preparing oneself for pitching, for contracts, as Robbie mentioned. It's so many aspects as to where the product can help any business owner understand their financials better. Again, with the understanding this is not to replace QuickBooks, is to enhance that system or any other system that you have from a financial perspective. So thank you, Charles.
All right, thank you, Danielle. Appreciate that.
Hello?
Yes, do we have someone else?
Oh, this is Tandy. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, Tony?
Good. I just wanted to say, what I like about this the most is that it's really user-friendly because of its workflow. And I like the way that you're applying technology, but making it simple for people who don't really use technology a lot to be able to, apply technology to their numbers and their business. So I really like that. One of the questions I have is, will the platform allow for team members to also join into the same company business portal so that their team can support the entire company?
Tony, that's an excellent question that you're going to help me design. Let me point to that as exactly where it is, because James Barnes is a user currently. And the one thing he asked me is how do we make sure we get more licenses available for all my staff to be able to look at that? And the other side that we have to be cautious of is the view that James sees in the website is not the view he wants his employees to see, because James' view is his whole entire company. And when I say whole entire company, what his revenues are, how his expenses, what money he makes, what his clients are paying him. He wouldn't want to make that available to his staff, but there's portions of the website he wants to. That's the target for our next phase, to make sure we add those users into the portal. And that is going to be helpful for exactly what you said, because this is just not an individual, just one person thing. It could work for one person, but also you want your team to be able to upload and create in different workflows. If you're doing, I have one gentleman who does appliances, and if he has refrigerators and he has a portion of his business of people managing that, you want that person to be update their information from that standpoint. So that's a excellent question. And as we build this, we're not there yet, but we will be getting there. So I appreciate that thought and feedback and the question.
Thank you.
Do we have any additional questions? So as we transition to this next slide, you guys have had this on your screen. What I think is important that everybody really understands, we as business owners, and I'm not going to read it for word, but if you don't know about what your finances is and what they present to you, Robbie just said for Carl, here's a key. If Carl needs to understand Carl should actually be setting what his margins are, what he wants to make off of each job or a segment of his business. I think sometimes the one thing that we like to do for what things we're not strong at, and it's generally strong in financial, we tend to want somebody else to give us that answer. We tend to want somebody else to drive that portion of our business. And I would tell you, if you want somebody else to drive your business, you might as well let them be the owner or run your business. Because if you don't have that control, you will struggle with that. The question I ask people, what I would ask people who ask me about this, do you actually realize and understand your business finances? Do you know what that means? When I say to you, why is it important to have financial health? The financial health is whether you're going to be able to survive, not just today. I know we have all gotten into the situations where we could have, we got payroll paid and we barely made it. And we were happy because we didn't think we were going to make it. Well, I'm saying, if that happened one time, it's going to happen another time. And what my goal is not just to prepare for this month. My goal is to prepare for next month, 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, and just to have a plan. And I'm not talking about in the big scheme of things. I'm talking about, what am I making off of each job, and is it profitable? Should I keep that business? Should I let that business go? The software will help you. And then because if you say you want a 20% margin, it will guide you. And if it falls, one of your accounts falls below that margin, it's going to prompt you. I don't know if you should change it or not, but it will say, hey, you realize this account fell below your desired margin. You might want to look into it. And what that's doing is not me telling you what you need to do. It's forcing you to look at it and say, hey, is this something I want to continue investing in? Is the reduced margin okay? We can move from that standpoint. Why, as we move forward here, why having clarity in your business is important? Okay. And I don't want to read these questions, but I also would want you to, Daryl has raised his hand, but Daryl, let me get this out and I'll open it up. As you read these questions, as you read these statements, does any of them apply to you, and how do they apply to you? And again, I didn't build this off of what I think you're struggling with. I built this PowerPoint slide off of the things that I've learned over the years that I struggled with. And so some of these things are exactly extracted from the struggles that I had and hold on, and I come to find out there's a lot of other people having the same struggles that I was having. So I'll open it up again, as you look at these challenges to succeed, does any of this apply to you, and how it does it? And Daryl, I apologize. Can you, Eric, can I open up the line for you?
Yes, good afternoon. No, you kind of answered my question. My question for you was it through your frustration with the other platforms that you created this one to, to allow you to run your business successfully?
Oh, well, excellent question. Well, when I went to go look for tools, I went to QuickBooks, and I had a really basic understanding of QuickBooks. And when I start using it, but the one thing I wanted to do is I just wanted to know what at the end of the day, I had one account and I wanted to figure out, was it making any money? And QuickBooks doesn't tell you that. And again, this is not to point out the fallacy of QuickBooks, because QuickBooks serves its purpose. A live plan is an excellent tool to use, but it's really to build a business plan. So what I'm hoping to solve for the people here is a tool that help you manage your financial operations and your management, so you can actually flow and be a business that understands. Because when people ask you, what is your gross margins for the year? And if you don't have any idea what gross margin is, you couldn't tell them what it is for one account, let alone for all your accounts. So yes, Daryl, this was born out of pure frustration of trying to understand what I didn't understand. In the language of, even once I started understanding the numbers part of it, the terminology is a whole nother world. And so if we want to play at the table and have a seat at the table, we have to understand the language that the world is speaking. And once we understand the language that the world is speaking, that bolsters your business, that bolsters your knowledge, and that bolsters your bottom line, because now you understand how to play within that world. So Daryl, I hope that answers your question. But Daryl, you are an individual that started with me back then. As you read some of these challenges here, does any of these resonate with you that affected your business?
I want to say I'm probably 5 for 5 out of every one of them. Looking at them, truly, honestly, the way my journey through business went, I would probably start from the bottom of the list and work my way up, because the bottom led to the borrowing, and the borrowing led to spending more, and the not knowing was, not having that tool or the education I needed to succeed as a business owner. Overall, this definitely encompasses my early start and trying to get my business up.
Excellent. So and Daryl, I appreciate you, and you guys will get to meet Daryl a little bit later in this presentation. But he is same as I. I think like minds attract each other, and it wasn't a like mind of how much money we can make. Like minds is here's what my struggle is, and can somebody help me or point me in the right direction? And the loneliest world as a business owner is the world that we live in. Sometimes we don't know who to ask, and sometimes we don't want to ask out of the fear of not being perceived as a good business owner. So I wanted to give this place. The EnDepth Data platform is created for you to feel secure enough to educate yourself. I want to pause here, and if anybody has any statements or they want to jump in on this, or can relate to any of this.
Yeah, I think one of my main concerns, and I've kind of been going back and forth with Robbie, is with we're all going through this COVID pandemic right now, and trying to really see what the future is going to look like for our businesses after we've taken SBA loans and other other opportunities out there, and really looking at what does my financial future look like? You got different terms or different things, so it'd be nice to be able to kind of paint that picture out to see, where am I financially? Where is our business going to be? We know we're making less money, but am I really going to be able to sustain when all these loans and everything kick in? The payments kick in.
And I think that was Carl.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, okay. So no, I hold on. Hey, Carl, as we went, and the one thing that I don't care if these slides work or not. The one thing I think would be very important for everybody through this whole process is the live demo. So as you guys are digging in, once we get to the video, I will be digging in to make sure that live video feed works for everyone, because that is really whether this will work for you or don't work for you. So I appreciate that feedback. As we move on here, one of the things that we have to say for ourselves is why is this important to start filling in these gaps? Hey guys, the one thing I love about this conversation, some of these conversations are you guys have already hit on them. You beat me even to my slides. And what I would say to many of you on this call is have you had financial advisors? And what I would normally open the call up and have an answer to this. If you do, please raise your hand. But the answer to that is yes. You can have a financial advisor, but they're expensive. And I'm not saying expensive in the sense that you can't afford them, but sometimes you can't. And when you new to business is how do you manage your expenses that you can grow your business? And I will quiet down and let Robbie speak.
Well, and that's exactly right, Charles. I work with my small businesses to try to curb their cost at any cost, so that they can continue to pay me for the more critical things that I'm hired to do for them. And so sometimes when I get those calls for these types of ad hoc ad hoc reports, this will definitely reduce the cost to me, because I believe, and I don't know what your pricing is, but I believe that it probably won't surpass my hourly rates. So this is a good way. And then it's also a good tool for them to kind of look at the numbers and start to begin to be more of a proficient leader in terms of their numbers, because I can explain it to them until they're blue in the face, but sometimes a picture tells a thousand words, and this is a good tool that they can use to sit with me on a quarterly basis to kind of go over their numbers and look at their numbers. So I think they still need us, but I think that this is a much better tool for them to own for themselves, to start to learn, to understand how the numbers work, and then get with the professionals like myself to discuss the numbers and to then strategize how you move forward. So excellent.
Robbie, here's the thing I can say to you. I'm not going to diminish what anything that you do. Matter of fact, the thing that I struggle the most with in this business is I don't want to deal with the financial piece of this. I never did want to deal with the financial piece of it. But in order for me to grow, I got to know what it looks like. I got to step out. I got to step out and understand. Hey guys, I'm gonna say this to you. You may plug all your information in the website, and then it may tell you. You may have to answer this question: why am I in business? And I'm not trying to get you there. What I'm trying to do is get you to see what you're doing in your business. Is it profitable for you? Because you could be just doing enough or barely enough to cover all your expenses. And does that make sense, or do you need to make changes or enhancement? And as we kind of ebb and flow here, the other side of this is the community side of it. And what I mean by, and I don't want to go too deep into that, but the one thing we do as business owners, we think that if an accountant talks to another accountant, but they know each other, if they talk to each other, they're going to steal clients. No, you learn quickly that it's enough people in this world that I don't have to worry about stealing your clients to build my base. I'm in a janitorial space, and in the janitorial space, I talk to I don't consider my competition. I consider them clients. I mean, not clients, as friends or somebody I can learn something from. Colleagues. And here's why I consider them colleagues. In a law firm, if you're in a law firm, everybody's competing to go with the same thing, but they are also considered colleagues. So that's how you have to look at the person that's doing the same thing that you're doing. Can you learn something from them? And if we have that opportunity to understand that, that's the other piece of the pie I'm trying to solve here for us. If we can let Ryan speak here.
I might. Yes, everybody. So I just wanted to share this perspective from my days as the struggling entrepreneur before I became a business advisor and a startup attorney. There were often hours where I was trying to figure out what questions should I ask somebody like Robbie. And there were often times where I realized I had to make decisions before I could get to somebody like Robbie. And the question I had to have is, did I understand enough of my business to be informed enough to know what to ask, when to ask it, and have a sense going what the trends and what decision-making was? And the lesson I give to everyone now, which I think EnDepth Data can be useful for a lot of people, it's a tool to help you in those scenarios, or better guide the type of relationship you have with financial advisors, as well as help you be for those times you can't reach them, give you a sense on what's happening so that you can act in confidence and in knowledgeability for the best interest of your business.
Excellent. I appreciate that, Ron. So as we move forward here, and I will repeat this again, this was driven out of the lack of information that's out there that's readily available. So that's what drove me to create EnDepth Data. And I didn't get a chance to say this because it was a little bit clumsy at the beginning. One of the challenges that I have had in my business is I try to do it alone. A lot of people on this call are either they're clients, advisors, support, wives, friends, and the thing that we have to do is The community's big enough for you to get what you need, but you have to know how to go reach out for the information. That's what my goals are. As we move on here, what does discovering financial clarity do for you, and why is it important? And do you know where to begin? The EnDepth Data is not trying to solve all your ills with your companies or fix everything. What we're trying to do is open your eyes to what you see and understand your data. Our goals here is not to set goals for your business. Our goals here is for you to set whatever goals you need from a financial management standpoint and try to go achieve that for your company, for whatever percentages that you're trying to achieve. What we want you to do and what we would like for you to do is to be empowered. The best person to speak to, and anybody talking from a financial advisor, from a mentor, is they work well when they work with people who at least have a direction for themselves. And the empowerment of understanding your information is really, really the critical information here. What I would like to do as we move forward here is just give you insight just from other people in my organization and just people who, other clients. We're going to move to a video. Please take your time to look at it. At the end of it, if you have any questions, feel free. Let's talk about it. But we can move to the video. Kicker, we're not hearing any sound. If we can't get any sound, it's a great video, but I want to make sure. We can move forward.
At EnDepth Data, we empower entrepreneurs. At EnDepth Data, we empower entrepreneurs to reach their goals. Our software platform provides clarity and operational insight to your business. EnDepth Data gives you a comprehensive view of your organization.
EnDepth Data is a service platform for small to medium businesses. They can actually input their own business data, do some analysis of the business, and then make some adjustments to increase your profit.
It's been a game changer. It helps me see where my expenses are. It helps me see how much money is coming.
Charles, you're muted.
So for those who, it is a great video, but we couldn't see it. But I guess as you guys have a chance, please go back and take a look at it. There's a link that's listed here. And we will add it in the chat so everyone has a chance to see it. But the thing that I'm going to stop here to do is the gentleman that helped me with this process, that did that video is a Black-owned business. It was top notch. His company is called Gold Media. Oh, sorry, Creative Gold Media. And if once you guys have a chance to look at it and you're interested in I don't have a stake in it. He did great work for me. So here's my information. If anybody wanted to do a demo, and why this is important this is important because if you want to talk to me directly, you can. So reach out to me and we can go through that process. One of the important things is you didn't get to hear it is you can hear. I wanted to bring in one of the clients that's currently on the website. I mean on the platform, which is can we move to the next slide? His name is Daryl Campbell. He is the president of Squared Away Painting Solution. Daryl came to me early in his process early in the process of EnDepth Data being formed, and I kind of brought him on as far as understanding what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to do for other entrepreneurs. So he jumped in, curious to how this could work for him. What I think is best to hear, and if you guys have a chance, here's his story, and if you have any questions, can you please, hey, ask Daryl. This is not somebody, just somebody, this is somebody who you can relate to. So Daryl, the one question I have to ask for you, if make sure your mute is off, is why is this platform like this necessary for businesses?
Well, once again, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Daryl Campbell. Starting off with a little bit about my journey into entrepreneurship. I was honorably discharged from the Navy after I completed my tour. My military to civilian transition was very rough. A job I had fell through on me. And I found myself working as a sales associate at Office Max, making $8.25 an hour. I had a baby on the way and a wife. Well, I just had proposed to my wife at that time. So the struggle was real for us at that time. The struggle was the motivation behind me starting my business. I started a business by Googling what was the cheap and easiest business to start. And a painting company was at the top of that list. It was very low cost and it didn't take much to start up. So my first day going live with Squared Away Painting Solutions, I had a painting kit that you bought from Home Depot for maybe $20 and a yellow page ad. I learned that from my father, from him starting his business here in Cleveland, which was Dominic's Dumping. He utilized yellow pages at that time. With all that, I was very unexperienced as far as the skills I needed to paint, and unexperienced as far as the knowledge I needed to run a business. So I found myself going into situations underbidding. I was underbidding because I would walk into a job and say, okay, well, I have a bill that's say $600, so I need to make at least $600 off. So I would go in there and I would do the bid, and then I would add in what I think the cost of material was, maybe $400. Now I'm at $1,000. That it may take me 2 days to get it done, so I may need 2 laborers, so that may be $300. So here, a $1,400 bid, not knowing that whatever delays may have occurred, whether it be weather or the materials wasn't enough, whatever it was, I found myself underbidding, and it caused my business to hit a standstill. It affected me on a personal level too, because I had to complete those jobs, and in order to complete those jobs, I had to borrow money from my personal funds. And, that created a rift between my wife and I. Taking money out of the house to fund, poorly bidded jobs was not something that we enjoyed talking about over dinner. Through the trials and tribulations, I did grow to a point which I considered I was organized, and basically that meant I was printing out my receipts and placing them in folders, and then anything I bought from Sherwin-Williams or Home Depot, I would take that receipt and put it inside a Ziploc bag. That was my HR department, and my accounting department was storage and freezer bags at that time. through a little time, I met Charles. Charles actually went to school with my father, and my dad introduced us, and he showed me the template that he created for his business. I want to touch back on something somebody else mentioned about the QuickBooks and the other platforms. For us young and honestly, just to be transparent, uneducated as far as the business methods go, it's hard for us new business owners to hop straight into QuickBooks or any other platforms because we don't possess the general education or the knowledge we need to even understand something like QuickBooks. So when he showed me the platform he created, from the moment he clicked into there, I knew if he was doing a good business that day or a bad business that day because it was very clear to the point to where if you did bad business, it was highlighted in red. If you did good business, it was highlighted in green. And I know Charles always gets on me about the money part, but at the end of the day, I got in business to make money. So truthfully, that's all I really care about at the end of the day. So just seeing that from the start, seeing that I made money that day, it motivated me and motivated me to really want to work, as he says, in my business and on my business. It motivated me to want to have clarity and visibility on what my business was doing. So I became a user. At first, I was using it as a daily account, but over time, it grew to where I truly saw what my business was doing, as far as how much money I was spending, how much money was coming in. Um, I had a better understanding of how to do a bid. Starting out my business, I found myself on YouTube a lot, just searching whatever paint companies or paint advice they had on there because these tools aren't available. You know, our community is so creative, but we truly don't have the platforms. We need to explain it or to learn from or to promote our creativity. So it's going to show you the good and the bad. It's a very exposing platform. If you're not doing good business, you will see that you're not doing good business. Um, and like I say, it's highlighted in red, so it's very aggressive in telling you that you're not doing good business. I started out, like I said, doing residential homes, and with this platform and the clarity and the education it provided, it put me into a position to where I could uh, start competing for government contracts. I could start, at least applying for city contracts, but I didn't have the information I needed to do that until I started using EnDepth. No one tells you can't get a business loan unless you're an established business and already profiting. Until I walked into the SBA location and they told me that I didn't have the basic paperwork I needed to provide to even get the process started, whether it was a SWOT analysis or anything else. So um, we've grown to I've grown to having a clear understanding, being able to project what we'll do on a monthly basis or even a yearly basis. So through the COVID, it really impacted us. Nobody was really doing residential cleaning. So once my account started turning red, I had to find different avenues and different ways to make money. So pressure washing became something else that we added to our repertoire, or exterior painting. We were located in Florida, so we could do things outside all year round. Unfortunately, I'm in Cleveland this week, and that doesn't seem to be the case. But overall, the EnDepth platform provided me the knowledge and the tools, and it made me comfortable in running my business. Running a business can be very intimidating because you're not having a clear understanding could really push you to do things you wouldn't normally do. So it made me comfortable. It gave me the visibility I needed, and it helped me grow my knowledge and everything that I needed to run my business. But I really like when Charles says the statement, we have to get away from working in our business and start working on our business. And he has another term he used. We don't want to just do business. We want to do good business. And that resonates with me so much because I know the stress and the pain doing bad business can cause um, physical stress, emotional stress, mental health, everything. And like I say, the on the personal relation between my wife and I, my family and I. So I know what bad business feels like. So when I log into EnDepth and I see that I'm doing good business, it's a feeling like no other. So um, I want to thank Charles. I want to thank EnDepth I want to thank the President's Council for highlighting Charles and the thing he's doing right now, because I see on the call we have a lot of CPAs and college educated people and everything, but coming from somebody who's a public school system product, Navy veteran, but I've worked and I grinded my way to where I am now. But there's a lot of me's out here. There's a lot of people who don't have these tools. There are a lot of people who have the drive and the motivation to want to do better because they've seen worse. And because we've seen worse, we want to do better, but it's hard to find that platform or that first step to help push us into breaking these generational curses, to educating our children, and to stop forcing our kids into certain pipelines that don't help us in the long run. So I really want to thank Charles. I really want to thank EnDepth, and kudos to the President Council for allowing him to highlight his achievements and give his platform to the world. Thank you.
Hey, Daryl, hey, that's powerful, and I appreciate that, and they appreciate that. But for me, is how can I help you grow your business to where you need it to be at? So before we move on to the live demo, do anyone have any comments or statements? Just want to speak to Daryl? Okay, thank you, Daryl. If he wanted to, he'll make his information available. But he is actually part of the community. So when we get to that point of conversation, I think it would be excellent if you guys have any more questions for him, you can reach out to him. I just want to make sure, because I had so much trouble here. Erica, is my screen displaying the EnDepth Data platform?
Yes, it is.
Houston, we have a go. So I have a pleasure kind of to introduce you guys to EnDepth Data. This is what you're going to do it's an onboarding process. It'll ask you some general information about your company, what some of your goals are, and then when you get to the point where you're live on the website, you'll come in here, you'll log in. And what I would like to do when we get into here is just explain to you foundationally, and tie it back to Robbie's question, Carl's question, James' statement, some of the challenges that Carl has in getting information, some of the things Robbie says she would like for her clients to be able to do. What you guys are looking at is the first version of that. As you log in here, and when you went through the process, the system was going to ask you, hey, what do you want to be known as? You could I want to be known as King Charles. I would say King Charles. I'm humble enough to know that my mama only gave me one name, is Charles. So I want to be known as Charles. So as you log in here, I'm going to jump right into it. I can show you many other features, but the main feature is, what is my business making? Is it profitable? And as you guys can see this, it's the first thing is I have an active budget, and it tells me in the active budget when I at a real display what my business is looking like. And I'll click into this, but the theme that, and Daryl mentioned this, it's really set up to tell you where you're at. Green is good, red is bad. And then, but at the end of the day, what we all truly care about at the end of the day is, are we making a profit? What is the profits going to look like? And this is gross profit. This is and some of these terminology would change, but this is gross profit, and this is my margin. And if, as I told you guys earlier in the conversation, I want my margin to be 20%. So overall, my business is doing 24%. So I'm in alignment of what I'm targeting. That's for that standpoint. Carl mentioned this, whether he wanted to kind of understand where he's at any time, and how he's going to look a month out. So Carl, you could take this same budget and and you can actually switch it here, but you can actually create budgets down here, and you can actually play in those. And what I mean by that is when I took this loan and I have to plug it in here. You can literally plug that information in here and not actively mess with your day-to-day budget. You can make it, you can play in these worlds down here to kind of help you understand what that looks like from a performance standpoint. But the real key, exactly to what I'm saying, is when you click into this, and I'm just going to give you guys an idea of why this was important to me. It's great to have the summary, but one of the challenges that I did not have, I did not know how each of my accounts were performing. I didn't understand how that played into my overall profit margin. So you will be able to go in here and you will be able to build this exact same thing for your business. In my janitorial business, I have accounts, and we'll set this template up for you to work for how you need it to work. But when you go in here, it literally, as you can see, it gives you what your gross revenue is. And for me, I have expenses that are going to be always expenses that I want to see at every time. And let's go over here to Mayfield. I got finder fees. I got monthly fees. I got new service fees. I got payroll taxes. And those expenses, if you don't track them, you don't know how it's impacting your bottom line. And then the other key point here is if I have an account that falls up under the margin that I set here, for instance, this account should be, I told you I wanted 20%, this says 4%. The system will prompt me to say, hey, you might want to take a look at that account. It has a margin of 4% and you want it to be at 20. What's the problem there? Well, the easy way I can make you understand is some things in my business is challenging. I can't track certain business under the normal contract. So if you go up here, you see this, and you see it, UH Suburban. I can actually put extra work into a category, and then it tells me whether that's being profitable. Well, that 4% turns into actually 72%. So yes, that's why that 4% is there. I can justify it, and the system will just, okay, it'll keep prompting me to look at it, but I don't have to look at it because I understand. As we are in here, and as I get out of here, because it does so much more, but I want to give people a chance to, hey, is there a question? Is there anything I didn't answer initially? Because I can't answer all of them, but is there something that you had a question about that I can at least tell you whether it's an existing product we offer currently in the website? So I'll give everybody a chance to kind of give me any feedback on that, and then if not, we'll move on to the next level. Daryl.
And I know we spoke about this before, but just so everybody can hear, will this platform allow us to print out this information or export it to an Excel or to a PDF or anything like that?
Absolutely. We're still in early phases, not there yet, but that is the plan. That we're going to be able to. It's going to be connectivity to all other platforms that are currently working. The element of this is based in accounting. So as long as those principles align up, that the challenge is you can't link them right now. So, but the goal is, and we will be there soon. It's not there to print it up how you wanted to do it today, but that's why I'm going to offer everybody a chance to dive in here so we can get more questions like that and make sure we can meet the needs of the community. Do we have any other questions? I'm going to stop sharing here, and I'll go back to let Erica finish sharing hers screen. So the thing that I want to, hey guys, if there was a place where you could have, you can come in and have low risk with high returns, would you be considering that? in order to do that, I would like to partner up with the first 10 users. In order to, if you're interested, we're offering that trial for the first 10 users. And part of that trial is the 90-day free of the platform, 6 months at half price, and the ongoing price would be $99.95. But in order to meet that, if you can go to the next slide. If you are interested and you want to be a part of this trial, I would encourage you to, because the first 10 are the first 10 that's going to be a part of it. You need to email Erica at this, Erica Penix, which is the executive president of President Council. Email her at this address. But again, that's the first 10. And I understand if there's the demand for this and we got more than 10, it's important to give everybody else that has a chance to be able to get access to the platform. Next slide, please. We will also be extending for those who are interested that didn't make it in phase 1. There will be a phase 2 trial offer. If you get 60 days free on the website, 3 months at $49, and then the ongoing price is $99.95. In order for you to be participating in phase 1 and phase 2, can we move to the next slide? In order to participate to it, you have to be able to meet these current requirements. And I'm going to say this, when phase 1 starts, I will, for those that wanted to be part of phase 1, it's going to start on the exact same day. So, and in 5 days after that, if you hadn't participated, I will bump you out to the phase 2 participants. And then anyone that was in phase 2, I will give them an opportunity to join phase 1. That's one requirement. The next thing is you will be assigned a EnDepth Data navigator. And that person will be the person that, as you go through the process, they're going to be helping you through the process. But also part of this is you have to agree to a 30-minute session every 2 weeks, or whether it's the 90 days or the 60 days. The next part of that, I need you to track all your information. When you're in it and something's not performing, you can alert your navigator immediately and let them know what's going on, or you can say that information to when you speak with them on that two-week cycle. And then, as I spoke to you guys earlier, one of the things that's really important to me is developing community. So we have resources that we can use each other as resources. So once we kind of get this up and running, I want to get everybody into the same community so we can start being a resource to each other. One thing we don't do well sometimes is feel okay with asking what we don't understand. I want to make this an environment that you feel okay with being vulnerable. You feel okay with asking questions. And this will give you a chance to have the success that you're looking for within your own business. But it begins with you challenging yourself to do something different. Next slide, please. As we round this corner, this didn't start off successfully clean, but I appreciate everybody's willingness to stay with me. I appreciate you joining this and joining the President Council webinar Wednesday. This has been very valuable to me, and I hope it's been very valuable to you. Can you hit enter for me? I would especially like to extend a stream thank you to Erica Penix, Executive Director. When I met Erica and they found out what I was doing, she immediately wanted to know more. So and not only wanted to know more, she wanted to even know more before I was even a member of the President Council. So as we go through this process and whether I would end, I don't want it just to end where you guys got this information, and if you do choose to go through a trial, but also Erica's the President Council is going to have something to offer you, and I believe it's something that's very valuable because it's very valuable to me. The reason why I'm in front of you today is somebody chose to think what I had is a good ideal. So Erica, extremely. Last bullet, please. I want to thank the President Council and everyone that's the team that has helped pull this together. The ones that keep reaching out to the community, giving us information, educating us. They send you bid information that's out there. They are a resource that I believe that will be powerful, not just powerful for your business, is be powerful for your business to grow. And once whatever level you choose to become as a member, you then have an opportunity to help other businesses. So as critical as this is, I think I will draw this to a close, and I will turn it back over to Erica. It's been an extreme pleasure, and thank you all.
Charles, great job. Thank you so much for introducing us to EnDepth Data. And this has definitely been a team effort